Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name is Ivana Harinkyu if you're new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. Today is Wednesday, August the 10th, and today I am joined by two very special guests. This is Bunny Drueke and Dianna Shaw. Now, Mrs. Drueke's son, Alex Drueke, is being held as a prisoner of war after fighting with the Ukrainian army against Russia and against the Russian invasion. He is being held alongside another Alabama man, Andy Huynh. Andy Huynh is from Lawrence County and Alex is from Tuscaloosa, and they have been held since early June. Now, we have seen pictures of your son, Mrs. Drueke. We've seen pictures of Andy, and we know that both of them are members of the military and former members of the military, Alex of the Army and Andy of the Marines. So they went to Ukraine. They were fighting again alongside the Ukrainian army against Russia after the Russian invasion. And again, they've been held captive since June. I know you've gotten a chance to talk to Alex a few times, and just a couple of weeks ago, I believe, was your last interaction there. So, Ms. Drueke, tell me a little bit about Alex as a person, and then we'll talk a little bit about a kind of fun event you're putting on in honor of the two men this weekend.
Well, Alex is a very strong person. He's charming. He's funny. He is very confident. He always wanted to be in the Army. I mean, since he was like 2 years old, he just always had this. So he did join the Army, the U.S. Army, and served for 12 years. He did 2 tours of duty over in Iraq and Kuwait. And then when he got out, he realized that he has bad knees now and he was getting older. And when this outbreak happened in Ukraine, it really troubled him. He said, I'm too old to fight, but I know how to train soldiers and I know how to use the equipment that we're sending over there. So I think I need to go over and share my knowledge. He says, I really can't do much fighting. He says, but I can train them. And so he used his own money. He's not married. He doesn't have any children. He just has a big dog. And he says, I have no reason not to go. And he said, if I don't go and help stop Putin in Ukraine, he's not going to be satisfied just taking that one country. He's going to keep moving. And eventually he may end up on American shores. So Alex feels like ultimately he's protecting Americans by being over there now. So
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sure he also feels like he's just protecting democracy as a whole.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When he called me and told me about his decision, and he deliberated for about a month, really weighed all the options, the pros, the cons, talked to family, talked with his mother repeatedly. And when he called me and told me about his final decision, I said, Alex, this makes perfect sense for you. I understand. And that was it. He said, I have to uphold democracy wherever that means doing it.
So he got into Poland legally, and he then crossed over into Ukraine, and he was able to be in contact with me on a regular basis. And he would tell me over and over again, oh, Mom, Ukraine is beautiful and the people are so wonderful. He says, I admire them so much. They're brave, they're feisty, they're friendly, they're warm. He says, I just may never come home. He says, I would like to stay and help them rebuild when this is all over. He says, so get your passport ready because I'll send for you.
What I think is so interesting as well about Alex and Andy's story is that neither of them had any ties to Ukraine before the Russian invasion. They went, again, just based on their military training and wanting to help. But it's not because they had family in Ukraine. It's not because they had loved ones in Ukraine.
That's true. Andy went because he wanted to be of help. He's a true humanitarian at heart. In fact, all of the men have code names over there. And until this happened, I only knew Andy by his code name, which is Care Bear, because he cares about everybody and just has such a loving heart. He and Alex didn't know each other until they got over there, and they met, realized they had the same goals. And so they decided to band together and find a unit that could use their expertise.
Well, and also too, they had a shared background here, being from Alabama. Again, both members of the military. Now, I know that Andy is a member of the Marines, has been a member of the Marines, and Alex was with the Army, but they still were military service members from Alabama. That's quite a coincidence to meet in across the world.
Yes, that is.
And I know that a love of Alex is dogs. Now, you mentioned again that he did not leave behind kids or a spouse, but he did leave behind his dog. And Bunny, you have said that when you get to talk to him, that is the first thing he asks about.
Yes, it is. And then he asks how everybody else is doing. but Diesel is so important to him, and he really debated about it. He adopted Diesel 2 years ago. Diesel apparently had been abused, and when Alex says, "Oh, I like that big one," the shelter said, "Well, he doesn't like men." And Alex says, "But I really like him." Well, they let Diesel out of the cage, and Diesel went right to Alex and rolled over for a belly rub, and Alex went, "This is my dog." And they are very, very, very close. So I'm really not surprised that he always asks about Diesel.
You can't blame him there. And you mentioned how big Diesel is. I know he's part Mastiff, and I think you said he is 109 pounds. So he's a big boy there. And I will just kind of give a disclaimer that he is okay. He is safe. I believe he is with you, Bunny, now.
Oh, and you know how grandmas spoil grandkids. So yeah, he's pretty spoiled.
Yes, I've got parents who do the same there. Now, something that again kind of ties this again back to his love of animals here is that his family and Andy's family, I should say, and Alex's family have decided to put on an event this weekend in Tuscaloosa. So, Bunny, Dianna, tell me a little bit about this event. Who planned it? Did you guys plan it, or did this come from somebody else? And exactly what's going to happen?
Well, we started talking with Andy's family about what are some things that we can do to keep the men's names in the news cycle. The news cycle is so busy right now, and we really want people to understand that our men are prisoners of war. They need our prayers. They need our support. We need to call our elected officials and make sure that they have Andy and Alex on their priority list. Don't forget them. Keep working on the diplomatic channels to, make sure that they can be released. And before they're released, to make sure that they are treated according to the Geneva Conventions as prisoners of war. So we're wanting to raise awareness, and we were talking as families about doing some kind of event once a month or so to just really reintroduce Alex and Andy's names to people and make sure that people don't forget about them. And the very first thing we talked about was both of the men love dogs. Andy left 2 dogs behind with a family member. And so we started talking about how, well, summertime is a very busy time for animal shelters. They're usually overcrowded. They're desperate to find people to foster animals and to adopt them. And so we started talking about, well, what if we gave back to the Metro Animal Shelter that gave Diesel to Alex as our first big event together as families. And so that's how the idea was born. I'll let Bunny tell you more about it.
I mean, it's hard to get big dogs adopted. Most people want a little puppy that's so cute. And we will have a puppy that's going to grow into a big dog there Saturday. So if that's what you're looking for. But, older dogs, bigger dogs, it's hard to find homes for them. And I can tell you, Diesel is the sweetest dog I have ever had. He's very protective, but he's also very shy and timid. And he's just a love. Just a love. So we specifically said we wanted big dogs. This is big dogs, big hearts, because Alex and Andy not only have big hearts for dogs, they have big hearts for Ukraine and the Ukrainian people and their fight for their own sovereignty. It's not their independence. They got that. Alex says, I'm just afraid that Ukraine's going to be forgotten in the news cycle. He said, it's important, Mom, don't let people forget that the Ukrainians are fighting with everything they have. So we thought, well, we'll just have a fun event. It'll be the second month anniversary of the morning that I got the phone call that said they were missing and presumed captive. And I want it to be a happy memory instead of this painful one. So we decided, Saturday.
You've actually gotten to talk with Alex and tell him that you're putting on this event. Tell me how he reacted.
Well, they allow him to call ever so often. He tends to be the spokesperson that they've chosen. And he was, of course, they are always wanting to know how the negotiations are going, which is they're going. That's all I know. They're going. And then he can say some personal things. And so after he had asked about Diesel and everyone, I said, Alex, we're going to have a big dog adoption event with Tuscaloosa Metro Animal Shelter. And he goes, that's where I got Diesel. I said, I know. That's why we're partnering with them. And we told them big dogs only. And he went, Mom, that's wonderful. That's so exciting. Let me know how it goes. And it was wonderful to be able to give him something happy and hopeful to think about while he's sitting there waiting to be released. So I'm looking forward to telling him that every dog was adopted. I hope, and our family has raised enough money, family and friends, to pay the adoption fees for 10 dogs. So you can come and get a free big dog.
And they'll go home with a bag of dog food. We've got a swag bag with things people have been donating. It includes a gift card to a pet supply store. It includes bandanas that are Ukrainian themed, made by a friend of ours, Sassy Bliss Boutique. They have sunflowers on one side and then yellow and blue hearts on the other side. They're reversible. Just all kinds of goodies in that bag. So not only can you get a great big dog, you can go home with everything you need to get them through those first couple of days.
Well, and Dianna, you also said that something that is also going to be at this event on Saturday are posters for people to sign and show their support for both Alex and Andy. Tell me about that, and tell me what you plan to do with the posters.
This was our cousin's idea, and she said, let's have posters of them that people can sign their well wishes, their prayers, and we can show them in when they get home. We can physically show them how supported they were and thought of they were, that they were not forgotten, because the reintegration home is quite difficult for people who've been held captive in whatever situation, but especially prisoners of war who are often used for political purposes. They're often made to participate in propaganda. And so they have, sort of a guilt that's associated with that. And so we wanted to have physical ways to welcome them home and show them that they were supported and prayed for. And so we are really excited to be able to offer that for people to come by and sign. We've also got some kids who are going to do a lemonade stand. We've got Hand in Paw, which is a service dog organization that's going to have a display and a couple of dogs there. We've got Callie's Place, which is another animal rescue who's going to be represented there.
Balloons, music.
Yeah, it's just turning out to be a really wonderful community event.
So even if you're not looking for a big dog, come on out and sign the posters, and we've got ribbons, little over on this side, little ribbons that we'll pass out until they run out, and we're just hoping that everybody will turn out to let them know they aren't forgotten. I know that POWs are often told, your country doesn't care about you. They're not doing anything to get you home. And that isn't true. We know that our government is working on getting them home. We speak to the State Department nearly every day. They can't tell us the details, but we are confident that they are working hard to get them home. And this will be a wonderful way to show them you were not forgotten.
And we've had incredible support from Senator Shelby's staff, from Representative Terry Sewell and her staff. Representative Adderholt has been very supportive of Andy's family. It's been incredible the way our government officials have worked together and have stayed in touch with us and have been so supportive of us. And like she said, there's not a lot of detail they could share with us, but as as frequently as we touch base with them, as much as they have been able to tell us, we know that they really are working together towards a solution. And some of them are going to be there for us on Saturday too. We're really excited. We've got a couple of council members who are going to be there. We've got representatives from the offices of our elected officials who are going to be there.
Well, and something I think is interesting is this event is not necessarily a fundraising event because unfortunately you can't pay a ransom and get Alex and Andy back. I'm sure that you would if you could, but that's not an option. So this is again more a awareness event, as you said, and trying to keep their names out there. And I love, Bunny, what you said about trying to take back a good memory, a day, and make it a good memory instead of a horrible memory there. And I think that it sounds like you will be able to have that good memory. If you were able to give any type of message right now to Alex and to Andy as well, what would you say?
We love you. We are working with all of our strength to get you home as quickly as possible. You aren't forgotten by anybody. Just hang in there. Trust the process. We're going to get you home. And Diesel's okay.
Dianna, what would you say?
I would say I'm proud of him. I'm proud of his big heart for the Ukrainian people. I'm proud of him for acting on his principles. I know that he's strong. He's got the training to get through this. He's got the know-how. He's got the spirit, the fighting spirit. And I want him to know that we believe in them, that we know they're going to get through this.
Well, and also, again, one thing that I am sure brings you a little bit of comfort is that Alex and Andy are being right now held together in a prison. And they are together. They can share their backgrounds from Alabama, from being in the military, and for their love of dogs here. So have you been in contact with Andy's family and checking up on him as well?
We're all one big family now.
We talk to them almost every day.
Yes. And we're building a website together dedicated to the men. So we're working on that together right now. There's just a lot of support we're able to give each other. My sister said the other day, what a strange club we're a member of now, because now we're in touch with some of the UK families who have prisoners of war, men who similarly went from England or Ireland or wherever to support Ukraine. And so we're meeting people all the time who are kind of in the same situation with us. And it's a very strange club, but it's wonderful that we can be supportive of each other. And we just adore Andy's fiance, Joy. She is so precious. Joy and Bunny kind of are being the face to the media of our families. Joy's mother and I are sort of the back end support, trying to, make sure we've got everything scheduled and, coming up with the plans for events and working with the media and government relations and all of that. So we've got a real core team working on this together.
Again, Alex Drueke, Andy Huynh, held after fighting against Ukraine, captured in early June there. Sounds like they both are very lucky to have very supportive families. And again, I love that message both from you, Bunny and Dianna, of just, we love you, we're proud of you, and we're going to do everything we can to get you back home. I will repeat that event. It's called Big Dogs, Big Hearts. As Bunny, you said, the adoption event, it is on Saturday, this coming Saturday, from 9 a.m. to noon at Forest Lake United Methodist Church in Tuscaloosa. We will leave the address here as well, so you can get directions there. And again, if you're not coming to get a dog, if you're not planning to adopt a dog, there will be other things for you to do as well, and posters to sign for both of those Alabamians. Bunny, Dianna, thank you so much for just coming, telling us a little bit about Alex and Andy, and also what you're doing to make sure they know that they're feeling supported.
Thank you, Ivana, for having us and for helping us keep their names out there so that people can remember to pray for them and to call their representatives and senators and say, yes, these guys need your help. So
absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody watching. Again, we're going to leave all of that information about the event so you can head out there on Saturday. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.